Hello? Alright. So tonight, didn't really want to do my Nuzlocke or anything else right now. So I just thought, let's just do something simple. Let's do some tier lists. Now, I made it so that in the Discord server I'm in, people can just join and hop in whenever they feel like. But for the most part, we're just gonna be ranking a bunch of stuff that I found on the internet, based on like what I like and any personal stories I may have had with them. And some intense music already. And first thing I just thought of is, let's do some fast food restaurants and fast casual stuff, because that's something almost everyone can relate to. And from the looks of it, it's in alphabetical order. Should I just do alphabetical order? Yeah, I might as well. That way it's just easier to get through some of these. So A and W. I've technically had it, but it's also been mixed with a Long John Silver's. So they may make their food completely different from how they're normally supposed to do it. Having said that, though, because it's mixed with the Long John Silver's, I don't eat there too often, but I will eat it given any opportunity. Because it's not like their food's bad. Let's see. Arby's. So a majority of my family's worked at an Arby's, so I'm just used to eating their food. I can get sick of it sometimes, especially the roast beef recently, because it just doesn't taste the same as it used to. It just tastes a lot drier. And since that's just how it's been recently, especially after the pandemic happened, like, if I get it, I'll eat it, but it's not something I'll go out of my way to get. I'd have to be in the mood for it, but it's not like the first thing that comes to mind. Baja Fresh, I don't know. Blimpies, I don't know. I was told I'd like Bojangles, but I've never had it, so that goes there. Boston Market, that also goes here. Alright. Burger King's kind of a big one. So with Burger King, it's like, their food isn't bad, but it's also not good. Because it's like one of the first few fast food restaurants you think of when you're just trying to get something quick and easy to get. Like, you'd think this, McDonald's, Wendy's, stuff like that. But lately, like, they just cost way too much, and most of their food isn't that good. The only thing I ever really get there is the original chicken sandwich. And the last few times I've had it, it's been overly greasy and oily, to the point where I have to stop eating it. So if they ever, like, find a way to make it better, then I'd probably eat it, but it's not anything I ever get, like, a thought to. Cane's. I have never been to Cane's. We're supposed to get one sometime next year, I think, where I live. I know I'll like it because I heard so much about it. But that's definitely something I'm kind of looking forward to, though. Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. So, my big problem is that they do, what is it, flame broil their burger patties. I hate it when, like, burger joints do that. It's, like, also part of the reason I don't like Burger King. I'm trying to think, like, what else I ordered from them. Because the other thing I got wasn't too bad. So I might look on DoorDash to see if I can find what it was. Where is it? I know it's probably closed by now. It's almost 10 p.m. Well, it should be somewhere down here. Finding everything but Hardee's right now on here. There it is. What did I get? Oh, it won't even show me, like, the actual menu right now. Am I able to change that? Yeah, it's just pulling up the breakfast menu right now, so I can't even look at it. But I forget what it was, but it wasn't too bad. But if I don't get the burgers, I think it's fine. But it's not like a go-to I'll always go for whenever I'm hungry. Checkers and Rallies. For the most part, it's not bad because it's pretty cheap. They, at least in my area, they've had a track record of just royally fucking up my order a bunch. Because I'll ask for, like, no onions or something, and they just destroy it with a mountain of onions, when that's not what I want at all. So I don't know if it's just, like, people putting things in wrong or what, but that's just the only problem I've really had with them. It's like, I usually just get, like, a rally burger with, like, no onion and extra pickle, because I like having pickles, and I fucking hate onion. Oh, speaking of hate, how do I add something? Add below. Oh. Don't want to do that. Actually, let me... Yeah, that's fine. This one. That one is gray now. I will never eat at Chick-fil-A. It's like, I hate everything they stand for. Chipotle. So I used to work at a Qdoba. So when I tried Chipotle, it was basically just that. The only difference is just it costs way too much for what it is. And because I also worked at Qdoba, I know, like, how it's set up here. So they do, like, all the warm stuff and then the cold stuff. They just need to make it so, like, they don't pile it with, like, a shit ton of rice and beans. Because if you want to have lettuce, you want to have a lot of lettuce. It's like the whole point of, like, the whole point of, like, The cold stuff is just to add more filler to it. It's like, if I wanted more rice and beans, I would say something. But just because of, like, how much it costs, I don't really want to eat here too often. Like, I don't even want to give it, like, a thought, like, oh yeah, I'm hungry, where do I want to go? This isn't one of the first places that come to mind. Churches I've never heard of. Cookout I've never heard of. Culver's is another weird one with, like, checkers and rallies, where it's like, it probably just has, like, bad staff or something. Their food's fine, but something about it's just, like, not right all the time. I feel like if they actually did stuff, quote-unquote, right more often, then I'd probably eat here. But it's also another situation where it's just like, I don't give it too much thought, but I will eat it. Hang on. Oh, that's what it is. It's like, I thought dramatic music was gonna play. Del Taco. I don't know if I've ever been to one. So I'm just gonna put this here just in case. Denny's sucks. They don't know how to make good food. Domino's. Domino's is a weird one where it's like, I feel like I've had it before, but I don't remember for the life of me if it was good or not. So I'm just gonna put it here, just because I don't really know what to think. Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen is very good. It's like, I know a lot of people think, like, it's an ice cream place, there's not much to it, but there's some restaurants where, like, they actually do burgers and fries and stuff. And it's like, this is what I used to get for lunch and dinner every now and then when I worked at Qdoba, because it was right next door. And I don't think I really had a bad experience there. It's like, almost everything's done right. Pollo Loco, I don't even think we have that here. Firehouse Subs I've never had. Five Guys is okay. It's one of those restaurants where it's just like, yeah, you're getting what you're paying for, which is honestly way too much. But you could also just go to the grocery store, do everything they do, and have almost the same experience. The only difference is that you don't have to cook it. Because if you're ever just lazy and just want to have, like, a homemade burger, you just go to Five Guys, and they just build it however you want it. I think the biggest thing for Five Guys is just, they give you a shit ton of fries for some reason. Which I'm not too upset about. But sometimes it can be a bit much. I think the only thing I don't like is that if you get it to go, they'll just toss it in a paper bag. And because the burgers and fries are fresh, it just makes the bag all soggy. So by the time you get home, you just have a wet mess of whatever food you got. It's like, I'd put it here. Maybe above Culver's. Just because I've had more experiences going there, and just know what I'm getting every time I get it. So, here's a little fun thing. Say you have DoorDash, Uber Eats, some kind of delivery service. and you want IHOP. So, something you do is just scroll all the way down to, like, the senior section, and just get all the normal food for, like, $3 or $4 cheaper. Because they don't know how to, like, check and see if you're actually a senior citizen or not. So I will order food from IHOP, just say I'm an old person, and get food way cheaper than it's supposed to be. And it's fucking great. So having that in mind, this isn't bad if you're doing delivery. If you're just going there, then it's whatever, it's fine. But this is like one of the bigger things about just doing DoorDash or anything. Let's see. In-N-Out, I've never had. Jack in the Box I haven't had. I know I would like it though, because I read up on like all the recipes and stuff they had for their food. Jersey Mike's. So Jersey Mike's is a weird one, where I think it's another situation where it's just like probably different staffing and stuff. I think the more you go to the East Coast though, the better it probably is. Only because I don't think anyone from where I am really does things the way they're supposed to. Because I've seen pictures of like other people getting subs from Jersey Mike's and they look great. And then the ones I always get just don't look good at all. It's like, I'd be willing to like give it a chance if it's like anywhere else from where I am. But it's a weird one for me. Jimmy John's on the other hand, it's like their whole gimmick is just doing fast deliveries. And even though they probably don't taste as good as like a good Jersey Mike's, at least in my area, they're a lot better than this place. Jollibee I've never even heard of. The Colonel. What do I think of the Colonel? There's a few things I've ordered here that are a little odd, to say the least. Like, the chicken bowls and, there's one from, like, 2015 or something where it's just, like, instead of bread for, like, the sandwich, they just use 2 chicken patties, and it's like, I get they're trying to go more into the chicken, but it doesn't keep my hands clean. If I'm given KFC, I won't think too much about it, I'll just eat it. But they've done some questionable stuff, at least. So Little Caesars. People might hate me for it, but I actually like Little Caesars. It's like, I'm not gonna put it A tier, but you gotta hear me out. You get a full pan pizza for roughly $5. You go to any other pizza joint, it's at least $10 or more. And with Little Caesars, you know what you're getting, especially when it's fresh. Every other place, they don't always make it the same. It's like sometimes they'll just fuck stuff up somehow. And growing up from like a poor household, this was like one of the bigger things we would eat at home when it actually got put into our town. Long John Silver's. So like I said before, I'm not big into fish. And the only reason I've ever had it before is just because it was mixed with an A&W. So like, because of that, it's just like, if I had to put the mix of the two somewhere, it'd be right here. But besides that, anything from the Long John Silver's menu, I just don't eat. McDonald's. So here's the thing with McDonald's. I'm not gonna rank it like anywhere up here. If I was, it would just be for like the breakfast stuff, because they do really good breakfast. But everything else is just like pretty standard and basic food you can get just about anywhere. The only thing they have going for them is that it's really cheap food. Like, you don't really have to think too much about like what you're getting and wondering if it's going to be good or bad, because it's McDonald's. Just about everyone's had McDonald's. Moe's. I've had Moe's. It's like Qdoba, it's like Chipotle. It's like Baja Fresh or whatever this is. I don't like them. It's just way grosser than all those stores put together. And also, I get it's company policy that they have to do, like, the Welcome to Moe's thing. I don't think anyone likes that when they come in, because it's just, like, kind of annoying, but also, like, yeah, I know I'm here. I don't need to be told, like, welcome or anything. I just want to get my food and go. Nibbles and Company isn't too bad. It's like, I would say it's up here. Panda Express. I'm not big on Chinese food, so it doesn't really cross my mind too much. Because I think the only thing I'd ever really get there is just orange chicken or teriyaki chicken, and then a side of fried rice. Panera Bread I hate. Everything there costs too much and it doesn't even taste good. Papa John's. So here's the thing. As soon as they kicked out Papa John himself, the whole place got a better reputation, because they really don't need a racist running their company. So, if it was before that, I would just make another tier and just say fucking racist. But since we don't have to really worry about that too much, it's probably one of my go-to pizza places. Just because they know how to make good pizzas, and it's not overly greasy or anything. I don't even know what this is. Penn Station I had once. I hated it. It's basically the best way I can describe Penn Station is that it's Jersey Mike's, at least in my area, but like 2 times worse. Pizza Hut. So, before Papa John's, Pizza Hut was our family go-to for pizzas. Especially when you had coupons and stuff. Because you could get pizzas pretty cheap. but since they don't really give out coupons that often anymore, I would move them down here, mostly because it's overly greasy. Popeyes I fucking love. It's like, they know how to make good chicken. It's like, I think the only bad experience I had at a Popeyes is we had a family trip to go to one, because there isn't one in my town, so we had to go a town over. I think it was like maybe a 30-minute drive or something to get there. So we went in, placed our order. Turned out that they just had, like, new staff in. Like, everyone there was completely new. It took about over an hour before we actually got our food. They did everything right, so that's good. And I understand that they were training. But the fact that we had to go from a 30-minute drive from our house to there, and then wait an hour for food, just because we had to deal with new people doing their jobs. It's like, I get it, they're new, they have to learn stuff. It just sucks that we had to wait that long. And then we had to do a 30-minute drive back, because that's all we came up there for. But any other time I've been to Popeyes, it's always been fresh, always good food, always have it in under 5 minutes now, so I think barring that one experience, Popeyes just stays up here. Portillo's I've never even heard of. Potbelly I've never heard of. So Qdoba, because I worked there, I got used to the food. I also got sick of the food because of that. So it's just like, I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. Because once you get to, like, working in a restaurant and having to have their food just to know, like, what you're making, you can get sick of the food really fast. And even though we could just make just about anything here, it all starts to, like, bleed together and taste the same. It's like, if I didn't work there, I think it'd just be right about here. Well, a little above Chipotle. But aside from that, it's just like, because I worked there and I got free food all the time, like, I would just eat it and not worry about it. Yeah, I put DQ really high just because there's always good food here. I don't have to think, like, I'm gonna have a bad time there. Quiznos... It's more or less the same situation I had with Penn Station, except not as bad. Roy Rogers I've never even heard of. Sparrow... Sparrow's another situation with Domino's where it's like, I think I've had it, but I don't remember, like, how it was. Oh, you want to know what it was? It was when I went to New Jersey. Like, we had to drive there. So, along the way, we would just go to any food joint we would see and just eat stuff. Sparrow was one of them. And for what it wasn't too bad. it could obviously be a lot better. But that's also knowing the fact that I was in a car ride the whole time, and I probably got motion sick, so pizza and motion sickness don't really go too well together. It's like, so I don't absolutely hate it. I think if there was any other situation where I would eat it, it'd be fine. But it's not like another one of those times where it's just like a go-to. By the way, Nina, if you want to join in the call I'm in, and just give your own thoughts of what I'm doing, you can go ahead and join, but that's up to you. I don't even know what this is. Apparently it's a bakery. Shake Shack I don't think they have here. Jonathan, that's my leg, no. Shake Shack, I haven't had, so I don't know. This I've never heard of. Let me look over in chat. It's been a bit. I had Quiznos a few times as a kid. A few things that I had new taste, but not overall. Yeah. It's like, I think I only have it, like, maybe once or twice, so it doesn't really stick out too much for me. Skyline, I've seen this in my town. I've never actually been to one. Sonic I really like. I don't want to put it in A tier, but I'll put it in B tier, because I'm trying to think of, like, the best way to describe Sonics. It's one of those restaurants where it's, like, really nice to go to during the summer, just because they have all those slushies and stuff. Any other time, it's not something you'd really want to do, but during the summer, this is a really good place to go to. I wish there was one in my town, but the closest one to my place is, like, 2 hours from here. So I only ever really go there, like, once or twice a year, maybe. Most of these you never heard of. Shakes are good. Food's 90s style. Not deep fried, but tastes like 90s. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to describe it. And yeah, most of these I've never even heard of, or if I have, they're just places I've never been to. But stuff like Jack in the Box, I know I would like, because I read up on recipes and stuff, and it just sounds really good. Steak and Shake. So I don't know if this is all Steak and Shakes, but they take way too long making their food. And most of the time, because it takes so long, it doesn't taste good. And they have really bad French fries. It's like they make them so small that they either get burnt from being deep fried too long, or they're just like really gross and soggy. Subway. Aside from like their tuna lawsuits or whatever they're going through right now for not having like actual tuna, Subway's not bad. See, I just had Subway like the other day also, so it's like kind of fresh in my mind. Steak and Shake is an A for you. Always fresh burgers. And I didn't even know they had curly fries. Subway does have good cookies, you're right. It's like, I remember, while working at Qdoba, like there was a Subway behind us, and that was another place I would go to for lunch every now and then instead of like Dairy Queen, because I could just go in and out real fast. And even though Qdoba did have cookies, it was always chocolate chip, and I got sick of chocolate. So whenever I go to Subway, I can just get like whatever cookie I want there for the most part. I think I'd usually get like macadamia nut or something. Swenson's, I've never even heard of. Right. Hear me out when I say this. Taco Bell's a good one, but it's also a bad one. But the only reason I'm putting it up so high on the list is there was no other place on the planet where you can get a Crunchwrap, a quesalupa, just a bunch of weird Mexican combinations. And aside from like seasonal sales of like Baja Blast and all the other Baja stuff, this is the only place you get Baja Blast. So if I want a Baja Blast, I'm going to fucking Taco Bell. It's like working at Walmart right now. I bought as much Baja Blast as I could because I just love the stuff. Let's see. Dad told me a story when he worked there. It's food, has a job and another besides them, would trade food for food. They have to eat the same thing. Yeah, we used to do that with Qdoba, but then management was just like, hey, stop that. It's affecting our sales. And it's like, not really, but okay. Like, it made sense because some of the restaurants we would go to get, like, food trades, there would maybe be, like, 10 people there. And then, like, the average food cost for, like, one entree from Qdoba is, like, $10. So if we had to do that, then yeah, it makes sense why we would lose money. But with, like, Subway and Dairy Queen, it should be, like, 3 or 4 people there. So we didn't have to worry too much. Taco Bell does the cinnamon stick thing. They also do Cinnabon sometimes, and it's really good if they do. Taco Cabana, I've never heard of. Torchy's Tacos, I've never heard of. I've only been to Waffle House once. That one time's the only time I really need to go there. It's like... The best way to describe Waffle House is, at least in my experience going there, it's good road food for, like, just filling you up. Get waffles, you don't need to get anything else. It's like, waffles, you're always safe eating. Everything else, it's questionable. Because I remember the one time I went there, I also got a steak. Just because I wanted to see, like, how that would be. It was the most misshapen, malformed steak I've ever seen. And instead of being, like, brown or anything, it is just gray. Waffle House is perfect for faraway trips. The greasy waffles just revive you after a long trip. Yeah, that's kind of a good way to put it. And then, I personally don't drink, but I've also been told that Waffle House is just a good place to go if you're just hungover and want something to eat. I fucking love Wawa. Every time I go to New Jersey, I always go to Wawa. It's like, they make really good food. And if they fuck up, it's usually because you fucked up on whatever you're ordering. Never heard of Wawa. So Wawa is basically based in the tri-state area. So it's like around New Jersey, New York, and I think Pennsylvania. Because I would go to New Jersey every now and then, I would just always go to Wawa. And because it's also a gas station, you just fill up your car and then go inside and get food. And they have a lot of variety there. Like, you can get quesadillas, you can get sandwiches, soups, a bunch of other stuff. But anytime you just go for gas, you just go inside and get whatever you're feeling for the day, and it's great. Wendy's. So, I already liked Wendy's. It's like, before I would just put them here. I don't know if it's like they had a change in management, or like something corporate's been telling them to do. They've been making their fries fresh for every order I've had lately. And just because they've been doing that, I'm just bumping it up here, because I always love getting fresh fries from there. Never stayed in Doofenshmirtz territory for longer than a day or two. Even for a day or two, you'd still probably see a Wawa somewhere and be like, oh, there's a gas station. And... Man, Jonathan, you're being really loud. What do you want, bud? No, I'm not letting you down. Angry little cat. I lost my train of thought, so I'm just moving on. Whataburger, I've heard is fine. I've never been there. Because I think it's one of those restaurants where it's like down south. White Castle. So, White Castle, for all intents and purposes, it just sucks. However, the one I go to actually makes pretty good sliders. The only thing I would change is how much they cost, because I think they cost a little too much. Had Whataburger 3 times, it's good. I'll take your word for it. I don't even want to try to pronounce that. Never heard of Wings. They recently put a Wingstop where I live, and it is very hit and miss every time you order. Because sometimes you'll get your food right away and it tastes amazing. Other times you'll get your food, it takes them like over half an hour to do, and it still tastes good. And then there's a dice roll of like whether or not it's just absolute garbage. So just knowing that, it's not something I'll go to constantly. If I'm in the mood for it, I'll go to it. But there's always just that chance of like, alright, how are they gonna fuck up my food this time? Zaxby's... Oh, what? Why did Steam open? Zaxby's... I've never had. I was told it's basically like Popeyes and like a bunch of all those other chicken places. So I'd probably like it. Alright, it doesn't look like there's anything else. And I really don't feel like rearranging everything. Let me just get like... Is there anything I'd want to change? I think I'm gonna switch Culver's and Arby's. Just because I've had Arby's more, and I know what I'm getting. And Culver's I don't eat too often. Is there anything else? I feel like I should have, like, worded these a little differently, or just had, like, something between D and F. So ignoring all these, and especially ignoring this one, I think this is fine the way it is. Yeah, it's fast food, fast casual, so that's why stuff like Qdoba and Subway's on here. Alright, so that's that one. There's another tier list we can do. Let's do candy. I don't see the reason to have a C there. So, let's see. Looks like this one's also alphabetical. 100 grand, I've never even heard of. Three Musketeers is pretty good. Airheads is a weird one, where it's just like, if you have too much of them, you just feel sick to your stomach. And you always get, like, huge packs of them with, like, 20 to 30 of them. I think if they didn't make me as sick as they do, I'd put them in C, but I'm probably just gonna put them in D. I don't even know what this is. What is that? Oh, that's like one of those sour candy rope things, isn't it? If I'm given one, I'll eat it, but it's not like a go-to. Airheads is a football game candy, is it? I wouldn't know, because I don't really do football stuff or anything sports related. Almond Joys, I don't like almonds. Altoids are mints, aren't they? I think you only really need like 2 or 3 of these and then you're fine, but I don't see myself eating like a whole tin of them. When I was a teen, football games were the only place that had Airheads. I think I get what you mean, but also I'd get these, like, I'd get Airheads from, like, Halloween and, like, parades and stuff I went to as a kid. Andes Mints, it's basically just Altoids with chocolate. Baby bottle pops were weird. I think I only maybe had these, like, twice in my life. Because weren't they, like, Fun Dip or something? Is Fun Dip even in this list? It's alphabetical, hang on. Yeah, Fun Dip's right here. Because I think there would be, like, stuff in the bottle, and you would just dip, like, the candy bit on top in there. It just didn't seem right. Like, the candy itself is fine, but just... if you're gonna eat it the way they intended you to, it just felt like a hassle. Baby Birds is pretty good. Is this just black licorice or black vines? I'm not overly big on licorice, even if it is like the red ones. It's just not something that really tastes good to me. There was a while where I would just eat black ones because no one else would, and it's fine. But it's just not something I go out of my way to eat. Blow Pops, Charm Pops. As a kid, I like these. I don't like them now because I don't like gum. So if I was a kid and I got this, I'd probably put this in, like, S. But, as soon as I get, like, to the gum part, I just don't want it anymore. I'm sorry, why the fuck is there baked beans? Oh, candy-coated peanuts that look like beans. That just... if they didn't label as that, then yeah, this is fine. The fact that it's labeled as baked beans, though, it doesn't make me want them. Bottle caps, these are just sugar. They're like... Wait, where even is, Smarties and Rockets? Do they not have Smarties and Rockets on here? Huh. Yeah, these just aren't too good. Butterfinger's one of my favorites. I love candy corn because no one else would eat them, so I'd always get candy corn. I don't even know what this is. Cookie dough bites. These are one of those candies where I just don't have them often enough that I don't remember them too well. Crunch bar. I don't like as much as these two, but they're still better than all these. I don't like dots. It's like you bite into one and it's just stuck on your tooth. Normal suckers are fine. I don't even know what these are. Like, I've seen these in the store. I don't think I've ever actually had these, though. Fireballs. I never understood, like, the whole point of having these. It's like, as a kid, it was like a fun challenge just to try to eat one, but they don't even taste good. It's just too much cinnamon flavor. I don't even think it's cinnamon flavor, I just think it's pure heat. But it's like cinnamon's the only thing you can vaguely taste out of it. Fun Dip. So here's the thing with Fun Dip. It's basically like the baby bottle pop thing, but instead of having it, like, be a hassle to eat, like, it's just slightly easier to, like, dip the stick into the packet of powder and eat it. Or it could be one of those freaks that just dumps all the powder in their mouth and then just eat the sugar stick. I think I know what this is. It's, like, a company brand chocolate. And they're okay. It's like, they could cost less, but it's chocolate. So it always costs a shit ton. Gobstoppers. When I see Gobstoppers, I just think of Ed, Edd, and Eddy, where they would always go for Jawbreakers. Because this is all this is. And they taste fine, but the fact that they give you so many, and you can't eat them easily, like, you have to let them melt in your mouth. It's been a while since I've seen chat, hang on. It is cinnamon? Okay. Anything with liquid in it I can't stand, bad texture. Wait, which one of these had liquid? If it's caramel stuff, it's fine, but, like, the Gobstopper, they have liquid in them? I don't remember that at all. No, because Gobstoppers are like a Jawbreaker where you just pop them in your mouth and let them melt because they're so dense in sugar. And it's like if you try to bite into them, you just chip your tooth. What is a goober? have no idea what a goober is. Good and Plenty. I've had them, they suck. There's no good, it's only plenty. Gummy bears I always like. It's like if I'm given a gummy bear, I'll just eat it. These are fruit snacks. Oh, no, wait, it's gummy worms. Okay. Same logic as the bears. Yeah, Hairbro isn't necessarily the best gummy bear brand, but it's one of the more... I'm trying to think of the right word. Abundant, like, gummy bears that you find in, like, supermarkets and stuff. Heath Bar. Oh, these are really good. Just imagine, like, having a Butterfinger, but instead of having, like, all the stuff inside it, it's just, like, more condensed. That's basically what a Heath Bar is. The only thing I think of is quote-unquote toilet sugar-free gummy bears. I think I know what you're talking about. I don't... I didn't think that was, like, what the brand name was called, but... I think I know what you're talking about. Hershey Bar. As long as it's not white chocolate, it's fine. Haichu I've never even heard of. Hot tamales. They're just cinnamon Mike and Ike's. It's basically just Mike and Ike's if you want the fireball flavor. I don't want those. Jelly Belly. There's a shit ton of variety, so there's bound to be one you'll like. Jelly Ranchers. If I don't get any green ones, they're fine. Because honestly, I don't like the apple flavor they use. Juicy Drop Pops. I haven't had these in years. I just remember I would just, like, take all the juice first and then crunch on the pop, because I didn't want to, like, dip them in this stuff. Or whatever you did with them. But I have vague memories of liking these. Junior Mints. When I used to go to the movies, this is, like, one of those candies I would always get. But then they hiked up the prices, and I don't go to movies anymore, so... But because of that, though, like, I have fond memories of just enjoying these while watching a movie. These are Kinder Eggs. I don't think I've actually ever had one. Kisses. There's more Hershey's. That's fine. I feel like these are more dense than these, though. Kit Kats. I will be one of those people that upset everyone by not, like, snapping these in half and eating them that way. Like, I will just chomp down on them and upset everyone. Krabby Patty Sliders. Oh, I remember these. Yeah, these are fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with them. I definitely remember playing them a lot more as a kid. So I'm trying to think, wait, where did I first even get these? Because it wasn't like one of those convenience stores or Halloween treats you'd get. Oh, I remember. So my dad used to work at a Cheeseburger in Paradise, which is a restaurant chain that's since been closed down, but has been run by Jimmy Buffett. And what they would do for like kids is just give them one of these, and they would just eat them up, and they were great. That's why I remember them. Alright, I'm looking back at chat for the first time in a bit. You what? What was the you what for? If it's the small ones for Halloween, I can understand just one bite eating. Oh, the Kit Kat thing. Yeah, no, I will just chomp in those. Like, I will not snap them in half. I just think it's dumb. Cracker. These are just the Rice Krispie Hershey things. So I think I might put them here. Laffy Taffy. Laffy Taffies are kind of like Airheads, but with less of that sugary feeling. They get stuck in your teeth more, but they don't make me feel sick like these do. Lemon Heads. I like Lemon Heads. Lemon Heads are good. I know there's like different flavored Lemon Heads where it's like cherry heads and stuff. But if it's just plain old lemon head, it's fine. Lifesavers. I can't tell. Oh, gummies are right here. So hard lifesavers, I don't like too much. The gummies I fucking love. Linder chocolate. I went to a Linder store and we got like a shit ton of these, like different varieties, and we just never ate them. So they just got left in a room to not be eaten for like a couple weeks, and ants got into them and they got ruined. And that's like 30 to 40 bucks just down the drain because we didn't get around to eating those. Laffy Taffy feels softer. Yeah, I think it's just because like they're actual taffy and not like whatever Airheads are supposed to be. Mamba, I've never had. Mike and Ike's, they're better than these things. I do think the marketing for like having Mike and Ike split up or whatever is dumb, because it just didn't make sense to me, but it's whatever. Milk Duds. Milk Duds I don't like, because they got that caramel that's just like very dense and very chewy, to where it's like not even like good to eat these. Milky Way are really good. Okay. So now we're getting to the M&Ms. So even though I put these in C, I'm not really big on peanuts, so it's just not something I really eat too often. I'd eat regular M&Ms more often. The only problem is that they just make your breath smell horrible. Mr. Goodbar, I think, is the peanut Hershey bar, which not really into those. I don't even know what these are. What is this? All I see is an N. They look vaguely like Smarties and Rockets, but yeah, I don't know what that is. Nerds. As a kid, I loved nerds. Now they just don't even taste like anything. The nerd ropes I like, though, because they have whatever the jelly is. Neon-laters. If I have a candy, I just want to eat it right away. I don't want to wait. I love these orange slices. Mostly just because I like citrus-flavored stuff. So I think paydays are the one exception to, like, that peanut thing I said earlier. Because the nougat or whatever it's the peanuts covering just overwhelms, like, the whole peanut taste. Peeps. I don't like Peeps. It's just way too much sugar. Pez I don't really like. It's like, I think I maybe had these, like, twice as a kid. And the only fun thing about them was just the Pez dispensers. And even then, it's just like, I don't want to go out of my way to go buy just Pez to refill my Pez dispenser. Pixie Sticks. Pixie Sticks are basically just the same as Fun Dip. Pop Rocks were fun as a kid, but they just hurt my teeth. Push Pop. These are basically just suckers. Raisinets, I don't like raisins. Red Vine is basically just the same as Black Vine. Gotten in so much trouble so many times buying an entire plastic tub of orange slices. They're good though. It's like, even if you get in trouble for it, it's just like, I don't care, I got orange slices, I'm happy. Reese Cups are always good. It's like, I fucking love peanut butter and chocolate together. Just peanuts and chocolate, not as much. But if it's peanut butter, then it's fine. Ring Pops I don't like at all. Like, yeah, they have nice flavors, but you also have to think, alright, this is annoying to eat, and also it's just a mess. So even if you do, like, have it on your finger as, like, an actual ring, you got so much slobber and sugar going down your hand that it's not worth having on there. I'd rather just crunch on them and then throw them away. It's like 4 or 5 the first time I bought orange slices with my own money, to clarify. Oh. It's not smart enough to use parents' money. Not smart enough for hindsight. Well, it was your own money, and even then, your parents should have had the hindsight to know, like, alright, this is our kid. They may not necessarily want to just save their money. They might want to just spend it on the first thing they see. Rolos are really good. I wish they were a little bigger, like Reese Cup sized, but yeah, they're not bad. Runts. I like Runts, even the banana ones. They don't taste good, but they're not bad. Skittles. There's a reason they give you so many Skittles in a pack. If you eat any more than what you're given, you just feel sick. And they have good flavors, and they also brought back the lime flavor, which made me happy. Snickers... I thought I already did Snickers. And Snickers go up here. I don't even know what this is. Sour Punch? I don't know what Sour Punch is. That was my brother, constantly spent his money. Now he actually saves up. Well, that's good. Yeah, I don't know what Sour Punch is. I don't even know what this is. It's too small for me to even read. Sour Patch. They're just sour gummies. They're fine. Spree, I've never even heard of. Starburst are good. I like that they're doing the thing where it's just like, you could buy a bag of just whatever flavor you want. Because I would buy orange ones every now and then. And then I would get, like, the red and pink ones for my mom. I don't know what these are called, but they're not bad. Sugar Babies, I think are the same as basically Milk Duds, but they're even worse. Like, while these are, like, dense and hard to eat, these are even denser. Which I don't even know how it's possible. Swedish Fish. I think most people would put Swedish Fish down here. I just put them up here because they're not too bad. I think it's generally like the taste and texture that throws people off. And even though I don't necessarily also like that, it's still better than like most of this candy down here, and I'd rather eat that than most of these. Sweet Tarts are pretty good. Probably B. So I think this is basically a Reese cup. Oh wait, no, this is a bar. So it's basically a Reese cup mixed with just any candy bar with peanuts in it. It's like, I think that's what this is. That's what it seems like. So even though I haven't had them, I'd probably like these. Toblerone. They're not bad. I don't like how they've changed them, so like you get less of these chocolate chunks out of them though, because I spaced them out differently, and it throws the whole thing off. Alright, so I have normal sucker's pretty high. Tron Pop's lower because it's got gum in it. I don't like Tootsie Rolls or I don't like Tootsie Rolls and Tootsie Pops. It just not taste like chocolate to me. It's just gross. I don't even want to like eat the Tootsie Pop because I just know I'm gonna get into that gross chocolate later. These go here too. I think the only ones of these I would eat is just like the pink and orange ones, and that's it. Trolleys. It's just sour gummies, they're fine. Twix bars are okay. I hate the whole idea of like left and right Twix though, because it's Twix, just eat it. Twizzlers are completely different from Red Vines. They still make me sick to eat, but it's better than these. Warheads I like just because I like sour stuff. I love these just because it's got good flavors. So I don't know what, like, the name of the company that just makes these weird named ones, but because they've made so many, I don't even remember, like, what this one tastes like. Whoppers... Whoppers I'd probably put, like, above an Almond Joy. They don't taste overly good, though. But it's better than having almonds. York peppermint patties, they're fine. Just a better Andes mint. And then this I've never heard of. I don't know if there's anything I want to move. Yeah, I think all this is fine. What else do I have on here? I do have a thing for all the Pokemon, but I'm not gonna do that yet. If I am, I'm probably gonna do it either partway through this stream and then save the rest for another stream. I really don't feel like doing that right now, though. Let's see. What do I want to do? What was this Mario Party one? It's just like all the actual games. So I think I might get rid of some of these rankings. Because it's not like there's an actual bad Mario Party game. And then I just need to get rid of these ones, because I didn't do the e-reader or any DS Mario Parties. There's over 1K Pokemon, it's supposed to be its own stream. True, but also I don't plan on going to sleep anytime soon. And I don't want to play any games right now, so it's just like, I wouldn't mind doing it. At least part way, even. There's no bad Mario Party game, but woo boy does it test the family bond. Yeah. But it's through all that trials and errors that you just either know your family better or how to just get better at the game than them. So the original Mario Party, I don't like. Like, there's a reason why it's the first one. It set the precedent for all Mario Parties onward. And it's just way too long if you do, like, a longer game. 2 is a... Oh. Oh no, I can't read that. I need to move the alert. My own hubris has failed me again. Hang on. Okay, thank you for the follow. It's like, at least now we can actually read it and not have, like, chat text in the way. What was I saying about 2? Oh yeah, step in the right direction. I wish they did the thing in, like, future Mario Party games where every board would just give you a costume. And even if you don't want a costume, you can just toggle it on and off. Because it just adds more charm to the game that way. Mario Party 3 is my favorite. Like, growing up, this is the one I always played as a kid. It had a bunch of really good items. I think there was maybe one board I would change. I don't remember what it was called, though. I just know it was, like, one of the earlier ones. But each stage had its own gimmick, and it was usually a good gimmick to play around most of the time. Because I think one of them was, like, 2 people can't be at the center of the board, or else the stage cracks. There's, like, 2 stars, and one of them's a fake. Wispy Woods was brought into the new Mario Party game, and it would just switch which directions you can go every turn. There was the one where you could just go to one side of the course and then go to the other. And then there was the whole Waluigi Island, which was just so much fun. I've played the Wii, Short Blue, that, and the DS. I think the one you're thinking of is 8. Because that's when they did motion controls. 4... So here's the thing with 4. I like 4 because it's also basically on par with 3 with me, with just a good game I always played growing up. My biggest problem was that because they were just trying to rush and make a Mario Party game real fast for the GameCube, even though they made, like, all these worlds with, like, different themes around them, you're, like, on a separate plane from, like, the actual board. So it's just, like, even though you could interact with stuff, like, down below, it just felt a little incomplete in a way. Picture seems familiar. Yeah, I think if they, like, integrated, like, the actual board part you were on with, like, the whole map like they did with the rest of the games, it'd be fine. But it just seems a little odd that they would do that. 5 is a weird one. Because this is around the time they started adding capsules where you can affect board spaces. And because it was brand new for this game, there weren't any, like, very clear indications of, like, what each one would do most of the time. Because if you'd see, like, a coin icon, it'd just be something coin-related. Either a hidden block, which isn't so much hidden anymore, or a hammer bro about to hit you and make you lose money. Wheeled for a Mario game to feel like a third-person game. Yeah, kinda. It is kind of weird when they do that. 6... I think 6 is a little better than 5. My only problem is that they didn't have a story mode for this game like they did with just about every other Mario Party. And I think this is the first game where it's like they had unlockable characters. Because I think this is when they added Toadette to the game. And it's not like I was mad about that, but I just don't like knowing that, oh, I have to do stuff to get a character now. Because my little pea brain as a kid was just like, but I want to know, I want to play as that. Why can't I play as that, even if I won't play as it? 7... So 7's on par with 4, mostly because I played it just as much as 4. Because these two were games I would rent as a kid, but when renting games was still a thing. Like, I know there's still, like, Gamefly or whatever, where, like, you just order a game online and then send it back in the mail later. But I would go to, like, Blockbuster or Family Video and just get these games and then play with my family every now and then. Which is all the more reason I was upset about, like, the Toadette thing for this. But 7 was like one of those games where I actually bought them, so I didn't have to like worry about sending it back like a week later. But I think they did like a really good job with doing level design and having it based on like different parts of the world. Because they had one based on like Italy, one based on I think it was New York, one based on China and stuff like that. And it was just overall a really nice one to play on. 8, I want to put between 2 and 6. Because 8 was technically another one we owned, but I didn't play it as much because it had motion controls, and I really didn't like doing motion controls in games back in 2007. It's just something about doing motion controls wasn't fun to me. I think most of the time it's because it didn't work right, but it would turn out it was just like a bad controller or something. Uh, 9's when they started doing that car. And while it did make Mario Party games a lot faster, wasn't too big on it. Because it just threw everything that 5 through 7 like built up and did with like the orbs. I know 8 basically did away with orbs also, but the candies like kind of worked more or less the same as them. But 7, or not 7, 9 just outright shot itself in the foot and it's like, yeah, that's dice only now. You don't get anything else. 10, I only played once. It was fun to be Bowser, but I don't remember it at all. It just felt like more of 9. DS, for what it was, I really liked. Because you could just play Mario Party on the go. Super Mario Party was more or less 9 and 10 to me. Like, they tried to go back to basics, but it just felt off. And then they took what they did with Super Mario Party to just make a more polished version of, like, a remake of all the Mario Party games from the N64. Superstars was really good. Like, I wish they would do DLC for it where it's just, like, more boards from other games and maybe... I'm trying to think what else. More minigames, more boards. More characters, really, because I don't think they have too many. Motion controls did help made me start playing PC, because they built up that strength and reflexes. Link's training ground, what? I do know one thing, my niece and nephews call at me. Yeah, it's like, either the more they do Mario Party, it's like, either you get better or worse at it. Because sometimes they'll just change something and it doesn't, like, sit the same anymore. I think I might move 5 down a little bit. But other than that, I think that's my list for this. I want to get rid of this one. What else can we do right now? GameCube games. How's this one looking? Alright, that's a decent chunk. Let's go ahead and delete a couple more rows again. Actually, let me add one below. And that's never played. Okay, let's go down the list. The original Animal Crossing. I'm gonna put this in B, since it just sets the groundwork for all Animal Crossing games in the future, and also the fact that it would give you a free memory card if you bought the game, because it took up so much space. Chibi Robo. This is the one game I always wanted to play as a kid, and I never could. With emulating and stuff, I can do that, and I have played a little bit of it. But just, in my mind, it just feels like I still never played it. Because I think I maybe played an hour or two of it, and I was like, oh yeah, this is probably what I was missing out on, all this fun little adventures I can do as a funny little robot. But, just in my mind, I'm like, I know I'm playing the game, but it's not kid me playing the game, so it doesn't feel right. I don't even own a copy of the game, so it doesn't feel right. So it just makes me sad whenever I, like, try to play it, because in my mind I'm just like, you're not really playing it, though. You're not playing it up here. You're just playing it, like, as an out-of-body experience at this point. Jungle Beat, I've never played. I never even had the drums. F-Zero... I only played it as a kid at my grandma's house, so I never played it too often. But even when I did not understand what I was doing. Fire Emblem. That never happened, and it never will, because it costs like an arm and a leg to get a copy of this game. It's like, even if I do emulate it, it's not gonna be like the same experience as Chibi Robo. It's just gonna be me knowing that, oh yeah, I'm never gonna own this game because it costs way too much money now. Kirby Air Ride. This is a very fun game. Especially if you played Smash 4, the 3DS. Not the Wii U, but the 3DS. Because there's a game mode in this called City Trials that anyone who's played this game fucking loves. Where you would just go around and collecting stats to boost your air rides that you're using for a random minigame you're going to be doing. And the only reason I bring up Smash for 3DS is that even though I haven't played it, I know that there's a mode where you go through a dungeon and do more or less the same thing. And I really wish they would have do that for another game at some point, because it's such a fun idea. Just knowing that you can get randomized stats for a run and just try to roll with whatever you got. Luigi's Mansion, this was a launch title for the GameCube. If you got a GameCube, you most likely got this. Even though it's not a Mario game, it's a very good game for what it is. And I'm glad that they actually kept the series going with 2 and 3. Mario Golf. So, this is a situation where it's just like, F-Zero, except I actually own this one. The only problem is that I never, like, even as a kid, it's just like I didn't understand how golf worked. So when I was like trying to figure out how to actually play this game, I just couldn't, and I would always be stuck with like the first courses. And playing it later, it's just like, well, I don't like golf, so it just didn't seem appealing to me. Double Dash, one of the best Mario Kart games. They did, like, they took so much from Mario Kart Double Dash that it's in, like, almost all the newer ones. Like, Mario Kart 8 lets you use 2 items just because of this game. And it's great because you can do some strategies with it. Oh, we're doing Mario parties again. I guess do this. We already talked about Mario Party. We're not gonna worry about them as much. Power tennis. So here's the thing with this. This is another one of those games where I would rent as a kid, but I know I liked it way more than the golf game, because I could actually understand what to do with Mario Tennis. This is one where people will be upset with me. I've never played a Metroid game. What are you talking about? It's Super Mario's Mansion. My brother in Christ. It's not Mario. If it was Mario, he would jump. This is Luigi's time. If I wanted to see Mr. Bing Bing Wahoo, I would have to wait a year and play Mario Sunshine. And we're not even talking about that yet. But speaking of Mario, one of my favorite RPGs, and what a bunch of people would consider the last good game of the series, even though Super Paper Mario came out, like, what, 3 years later or something, and was decent. It wasn't an RPG, but it was still good. So here's a funny situation. I was one of those people that got Pikmin 2 before Pikmin. So, as a little pea-brain kid, at the very beginning, I would rent this game, and then I would just look at the renter and say, can I just buy this? And then they looked and said, yes, but you need this much money. And then I scrounged around looking for, I think it was like 20 bucks at the time, because I was already renting it. Because I had multiple copies of it. So, I went out of my way, I bought this game, and it is one of my favorite games. And then, I want to say a year later, I found the original Pikmin. And, well, let me just tell you, if you go from Pikmin 2 to Pikmin, it is a very rough transition, because it's just not the same. But even then, over time, like, in my head, I was just like, it's the game before. I have to know this. There's gonna be some downsides that weren't implemented into the next game. But for what this is, even though this game I like way more, this one I understand completely, and it's just like, alright, I love this whole series at this point. Coliseum and XD. So, here's the thing with these. I was one of those kids that actually had the transfer thing, like the GBA link cables. So I could get all the stuff in here and put it in my games. So, as soon as I was able to do that, I had a fucking field day with Gen 3, and the main reason it's one of my favorite generations. But the way that you had to do it, like, get all the Pokemon in these games onto your GBA, it wasn't as bad in this game, because you could do it passively. This one was so annoying, because there's no purification chamber. You just have to walk with them. Or you have to do battles. And what Kid Me would do is Kid Me would go to Agate Village, find a little corner, and then just walk in place. Because there's a place where there's, like, very weird collision that it keeps letting you walk forward. And that's how I was able to purify everything in this game without losing my mind. It would mess up my game time because it would take like 3 hours for each set of Pokemon I was doing, but I still did it. And after doing that, the next annoying thing to do was do the challenge mode to do 100 battles in a row without losing just to get Ho-Oh. Because there's no way to get Ho-Oh in this otherwise. Lugia, it's just part of the story. Ho-Oh, you have to do challenge mode with everything purified. Lucky, yeah. That's one way to put it. It's like, I didn't do anything as a kid, so I just had time to do these. Resident Evil 4 and 0. So 4 I've never played. 0 I've never played. I'm pretty sure 0 is Resident Evil 1. I could be wrong. So, honestly, I could just play on Dolphin and do this at some point. I'm not going to touch Resident Evil 4, because it was, like, they announced that they're doing a remake of it, either this year or next year. And until then, I'm not even going to touch the GameCube version. I'm just going to wait until it comes out on PC or whatever. Sonic Adventure... Alright, so here's another Pikmin situation where I played 2 before 1. Sonic Adventure 2 is one of my favorite games. And I love trying to, like, speedrun it and stuff. And a big part of it, like most people who love the adventure games, is the Chow Garden. So when I found out eventually, oh, you can get the gold and silver Chow from this game if you just do the GBA stuff like I was talking about earlier with Pokemon, and put them in this, then you just have them in this. So I didn't have this, my cousin did, and they loaned it to me for a while so that I could do that. But when I was playing this, it's not bad. It's not Sonic Adventure 2. It's like, I know the whole situation where it's just like, oh, but I learned to appreciate Pikmin over time. They could have taken some elements of this and put it in Sonic Adventure 2, and I'd be fine with it. But, like, because it's just not a good port of a Dreamcast game, I don't like it too much. Where's my music? Oh, it's Xenoblade, that's why. So I could, like, I can boot up Dolphin and play it right now, but there's mods for, like, the Steam version and stuff where you can just have it be the Dreamcast version. So if I wanted to do that, I could just play it as, like, that. But that would mean I'd have to buy the game again, and I really don't feel like doing that. Sonic Heroes. So Heroes was a weird one, only because I could never actually 100% it. Mostly because I couldn't get one of the Chaos Emeralds, I don't remember which one, so I could never do the final boss. So, and I know the final boss isn't too hard or anything, but it's just like, I could do all 4 stories, but not actually beat the game, technically. Mega Collection I've never had. I was told that even though it plays fine, it's not good because of the unlock system. Soul Calibur I've never played. Star Fox Adventures is a weird one. I think I'm putting it above Animal Crossing. I'm trying to think. So as a kid, this is just one of those games where it's like, oh yeah, I have this for GameCube, I can play it. But it was also one of those games where it's just like, oh wait, I don't know what I'm doing. So I would get to a certain point and then just stop because I didn't know what to do. And I would either restart or just not come back to it for a long time. And then when I would come back to it for a long time, I wouldn't remember anything, so I'd have to restart anyway. I did eventually beat this game. There are a few questionable things in it, but it's not bad. Star Fox Assault I've never played. I've been told it's good, though. Mario Strikers I've never played, mostly because I don't like soccer. Mario Sunshine. So, even though I don't like doing the blue coins in this game, it's still one of my favorite games to just 100%. Mostly because I had like a notebook writing down like where all blue coins were. I lost that as a kid, so I don't have that anymore. I still need to keep streaming it at some point, because I think the last time I streamed it, we did Rico Harbor or something, but it got to the point where it's just like, one blue coin was missing, and it was one that I thought I already got. And since then, it just looked like a bad taste in my mouth, and I just haven't touched it since. I'll come back to it eventually, but I'm just, like, trying to think of, like, what other stuff I need to do before that. Or what I should do, like, before I do other stuff. Melee... It's not my favorite Smash game, but with how people always, like, hype it up and say it's, like, the best game, I don't get it, because there's so many issues with it. It is nice that it, like, kind of introduced me to the Fire Emblem series, though, with Marth and Roy. Tales of Symphonia. So this is one where I technically haven't played, but I also have. It's like, I think I got into the first dungeon or something, and then after that I was just like, alright, well, what do I do next? I got lost, and then also my game would crash, so it just made me not play it anymore. I think if they ever did a reboot of this or something, then I would probably play it, but the only other Tales game I've played is Vesperia. I think I got like maybe halfway through that before I was just like, alright, I want to do other stuff right now. Four Swords Adventure, I've never played. I would like to, though, even though I've been told it's a nightmare. Wind Waker, I fucking love Wind Waker, it's one of my favorite Zeldas. Like, even with, like, the very dumb Triforce tracking at the end, which is where most people usually fall off. it's still really fun to me. Twilight Princess, on the other hand, I don't like. Because to me, it just felt like Ocarina of Time, but duller and really boring at points, and it just starts really slow. And I had people tell me, like, oh yeah, after the water dungeon, which is like the third one, then the game starts picking up. Here's the problem though. I was a dumb idiot. I didn't know how to do water dungeon, so that never happened. I just stopped playing the game. And maybe 8 years later after that point, I picked it up, got to that point, finished that water dungeon because I understood it then, and I just played the game like normal. I feel like if I didn't drop it off when I did, I might have liked it more, but to me it's just really slow and boring. I think that's it for the GameCube list. I feel like if there's more GameCube games on here, I'd, like, keep ranking them, but it's only, what, like, 30? I have, like, a good chunk of the whole list. What else is there? I don't really feel like changing any of these, because most of these seem accurate. Especially the ones up here. Take that off. And that one. What was this Crash Bandicoot one I have on here? Oh, this is all the games. I might save this one for later. What's this one? Oh, partners and stuff from Mario games. Yeah, we can do this one real fast. Where do I start? I guess the non-Paper Mario ones first. So I know people hate Starlo. I like her, she's fine. She adds, like, a good dynamic to the whole group. I don't remember your name. I think it was Stuffwell or something. Basically just Starlo, but not as good, in my opinion. Gina's okay. I like Mallow more. I feel like I get shot for saying that, but Mallow has more of a character to him than Gino. Because all you know is that Gino's, like, a star from Star Road or whatever, and I think he's just trying to fix Star Road. You don't really learn anything else about him. Mallow, he's a kid that got abandoned. He was raised by frogs. Turns out he's royalty, and he's good at magic. There's just more depth to Mallow than there is Gino. Cappy... probably put Cappy here. Like, as much as I liked Odyssey, like, a lot of the game doesn't stick out too much. Flood I like. Only because I grew up with Sunshine so much. Dreambert, or whatever his name is. I actually haven't played his game, so I don't know anything about him. I think all these are just Paper Mario ones now. So here's the problem with doing Paper Mario 1 stuff. I've played so many mods for those games that I'm more used to, like, the updated stuff people have done to them. To the point where it's like, oh yeah, I would rank Goombario higher. But I have to think, like, just base characters, what they've done with them. And with characters like Goombario, Cooper, and Parakarry, like, they're all not too good. It's like, all the good ones are, like, generally... who else is there? Generally these three. And what? Basically all the girls are better than the boys. And because you get Lackluster so late, he doesn't even have a good moveset, and doesn't really provide a whole lot to the group. Meanwhile, if you do, like, modded versions, this list would look very different. Like, most of these guys would be way higher, and 2 of these would be lower. Meanwhile, we come to Thousand Year Door, and the list looks more or less like this. I just realized I don't have Mouse on here. No one likes Mouse anyway, but this is generally like how most of the party members for the second game are. I don't like Flurry at all. Third game... These two you always use. Slim, you don't use as much. Bleep, you don't use as, like, hardly ever. Barry's optional, but gimmicky. Dottie kind of sucks. Piccolo situational, but you have to unlock him. I don't even remember the hammer guy. Don't even remember you. Tippy as a character is very well written. Harry makes Bowser playable. You go below here, because you're not real. Dashel's pretty useless, because he's at the very end of the game. Kirsty's and Sticker Star, so just objectively, she's not a good character. Dewey's not bad. And then Olivia and Bobby can be, like, right here. Yeah, I think that's fine. I still think people are going to shoot me on the streets for putting Gino here, though. Let's do Zelda games. And remove a couple of these, because don't necessarily need all of these. Let me change classic to above average. That did not turn out right. No, that's fine. Alright. Let's start this. I guess we can try to go, like, chronological order. So, the original Zelda. Let me... I don't think we really need Cursed. So, original Zelda, for what it is, it's not good. And honestly, I like Zelda 2 way more. I guess put those there, since it's the same thing. Next would be A Link to the Past. Where even is that? Where is A Link to the Past? Oh, here it is. A Link to the Past is really good. Like, growing up, I didn't like it, mostly because I hated fighting the soldier enemies. But after playing, like, randomizers and stuff, I really enjoy this game. I guess I'll just throw that up here. Link Between Worlds, basically this. A little bit better. I overall really like it. I don't even know why Breath of the Wild 2 is here. But, yeah. What would be next? Would it be Link's Awakening? I would think so. Link's Awakening is really good. It's like, I know while... I don't know if people even still have their 3DSs, but if you put funds into your Nintendo account, you can just get the DX version and just play it on there. Instead of having to pay $60 to play, like, this brand new remake. And while some people are just gonna be like, why not just play the remake? You get more or less the same experience. The only difference is just a few quality of life changes in this. And most of them aren't even too important to really get. Because what was it that they added? I think it was like bottles or something, and then making your own dungeon. It's like there's no reason to have bottles, and the dungeon making is completely optional. I think after this it was Ocarina of Time. And I grew up with Ocarina of Time. I like it. There's no way in hell I'm gonna 100% it, because I don't like doing the Gold Skulltula stuff. Master Quest, it's a fun spin on dungeons. Not necessarily something I go out of my way to play, though. Majora's Mask is one of my favorite Zelda games, period. I hate the 3DS remake because they changed so much. And I'm glad people are modding the game so it's like more like the original. I think next would be the Oracle games, and I've never actually played those. And then after that, it's Wind Waker. And I already said how much I love Wind Waker. And then I don't like. I hope they put the HD version on Switch at some point. But it was one of those games where it's just like, oh yeah, my GameCube disc is scratched up, and I can't play this game anymore. Let me just get the brand new one, and I did, and it was great. It's like they even added like the Swift Sale and changed a few things to where like it's more optimal to play this version of the game than the original. That being said, though, I still do love the original, especially whenever I randomize it, because I could just do so much more with that game. And because of the randomizer, it just takes the quality of life from the Swift Sale, from the HD version, and just puts it in the original, and it's great. The only thing I have to worry about is just the game crashing, and that's it. But other than that, it runs just fine. I think it only crashes with, like, big octos or something every now and then. What was after Wind Waker? Was it Minish Cap? I think it was Minish Cap, and Minish Cap's alright. Four Swords haven't played. So I know this is like Zelda 1, 2, and then Ocarina of Majora. But because of how it actually, like, runs those, it, like, runs them poorly. Like, you're better off running Majora's Mask on, like, an official cartridge than this, because it just runs so slow. What would be next? I think it'd be Twilight Princess. I already said what I thought about that. Picross. I'll do that. Crossbow training's fun, though. I didn't like Phantom Hourglass. Spirit Track's more or less the same, just a little better. I don't even know what these are. I know the Tingle stuff I'd probably like. Alright, I think that cleans it up a little bit. What would be next then? Skyward Sword? So here's the thing with Skyward Sword. I actually like it. Like, the motion controls work, everything's fine. And HD version's just as good. I think it's very dumb that they made, like, a quality of life feature locked behind the one amiibo. It's like, that's not something people should ever do for a game if they're trying to improve it. Is lock it behind a paywall that, while it does make the game slightly easier and is completely optional, it's just not even a thing people would think about doing. without spending more money. I don't know, it just seems like a bad business move to do that. Breath of the Wild, fucking great. I love it. And then these I don't think I've ever played. I wanted to get this, but the fact that you need 3 people to play it makes it a lot harder to do. I think it's fine. So good with that. I think I'll do one more and then probably end stream, because I'm starting to get a little lightheaded. And this one, we'll just do Pokemon starters. So where should I start? I think I'll just do it chronological. So, Bulbasaur, one of my favorite starters. I always pick Bulbasaur when I'm doing Kanto. With how many times we've done Kanto, that is. It's just fun using Bulbasaur. Charmander's okay. I prefer Bulbasaur over it, but for what Charmander is, it's not bad. Squirtle I never use. I only use it for speedruns, and I don't like speedrunning Gen 1 because it's not fun. And I don't think I ever really use, like, Squirtle too often in any game. Like, even with, like, the Sword and Shield expansion where they give you, like, a Bulbasaur or Squirtle, I always pick Bulbasaur because it's Bulbasaur. Chikorita I don't like at all. It's like, we're gonna get into it when we get to Snivy, but if you make a starter a tank, you're doing something wrong with your game. It's like, I'll talk about it when I get to Snivy, but it's just not fun to run a game with just a tank as your starter. Especially when in Gen 2, you run into way more weaknesses in Johto than you do until you get to endgame, which is the post-game of Kanto. Because I think in Johto, there's only one gym you're okay against. And then everything else, it's either resistant or super effective against you. Because even though in the Ice Gym, like, it's super effective against you, everything else is either ground or water type, so it's not too bad. Start with the purple one. Purple one. I don't see purple. Cyndaquil. I'm not taking into consideration Hisui and stuff, because that's its own thing. Base Cyndaquil with, like, regular Typhlosion is pretty good. If you're doing Gold, Silver, Crystal, it'd be A. Heart Gold and Soul Silver, those are egg moves that you'd have to give it. Meanwhile, Totodile's pretty good overall for any version. Why did Steam open again? Because even though it's not good, in Gen 2, Totodile gets Rage. Rage is one of the most broken moves in that game, so you can just sweep through it real fast. And then in Gen 4, Physical Special Split happened, so you can actually use physical water moves and stuff with Totodile. Gen 3... Aside from Mystery Dungeon, I don't really like Trico too much. If I was ever gonna run one, I'd have to give it Crunch as an egg move. The joke, they've only used 3 colors, red, green, and blue. I see some white. I see some black. I see Funny Dog. Do you see Funny Dog? Here's Funny Dog. It's not a dog, it's a pig. But yeah, if I'm ever gonna run a Trico, I want it to have Crunch, so it has a special Dark type move in Gen 3. Gen 6, I don't care as much. Like, it's cool, but it gets to be Grass and Dragon if you Mega Evolve it, but... It's just not something I look at and I think, oh yeah, I want that. Torchic... Torchic goes here. It's a good mixed attacker, gets decent moves. Even though I don't use it often, if you give it Feather Dance, it's actually good at making things not deal as much damage. Mudkip, it's Mudkip. You can't be mad at Mudkip. Just look at him. Even when he frowns, he looks happy. Because he's a good friend. Gen 4 is a weird one. Because there's been periods where I like all of these, and periods where I don't like all of them also. I think just because of Gen 8, this is honestly how I see these. Because Turtwig, I always like using. It's good wall, it evolves easy, or evolves fast. Chimchar, only other fire type option besides Ponyta, so it's good to run it. And then, even though I like Empoleon, because it gets to be Water Steel type, it's just not as fun to use as the other two, in my opinion. Alright, so back to the tank discussion. So, while I have Chikorita down here, I'm not putting Snivy there, because even though it has Contrary, it's a hidden ability, so you'd have to go out of your way to get it. But if you had Contrary, it goes here. Otherwise, it just goes to C. But I'm taking best case scenario right now, so it just goes up here. Tepig's another weird one for me, where it's very good for speedrunning black and white. Any other situation, I just don't like it at all. I think it's boring. Especially after being, like, the third firefighting type in a row. Oshawott. Honestly, I'd put above Snivy. Just because it gets a good move pool, and it does pretty decent damage. Where is my music? Why did it stop? Oh, did it shuffle to the end of my playlist? Alright, hang on. Let me try to fix this real fast. There we go. I was wondering why it was so quiet. I never seen Snivy as a tank, because I usually one-shot it with my Flying Mon, not even my starter. It's just how its stats are. Like, it's meant to be a fast tank for some reason, which I never understood. But the fact that they gave it Contrary as its hidden ability in Gen 5 made it so, like, it could be better with Leaf Storm and stuff like that. But because that's the only move that can really take advantage of, it's still not the best. And honestly, there's, like, a lot more they could have done with it. Especially since its move pool is mostly just normal and grass-type moves. It's like, I'm trying to think the only other type it can get is maybe Dragon, just because of Dragon Tail. But even then, it's, like, not too important for it. Gen 6. I don't really use Chestpin a lot. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but I just don't ever see myself needing aggressive fighting type for Gen 6 ever. And honestly, because it's a newer, I say newer, but quote-unquote newer Gen Pokemon, it's only had 2 gens to really appear. And in Gen 7, it hardly pops up at all. Fennekin, for what Fennekin is, I like it, because it breaks the chain of having to deal with fire fighting types, by being the exact opposite, fire and psychic. And the idea that it's just a witch, I know I haven't, like, mentioned it too often, but I like magic and stuff, so it's nice having a character or Pokemon based on magic. If they ever make a subtype what they did with Water and Ice, they should do one called Snake Dragon. Snivy lost its legs and arms. Snivy still has its arms as superior, it's just tucked behind it. Froakie... Like, when these were first revealed, I saw Froakie, and my immediate response is, that's probably going to be the better starter for some reason. And lo and behold, I was right, because it became Greninja. And even then, it turned out Greninja wasn't even, like, Greninja was made, like, very early, because it was made for Smash Brothers. And then they just put it in Pokemon, because they're like, alright, how do we tie this into something? If you have a little nub, it's an arm. That's all I'm gonna say. Gen 7. Honestly, I really like all the Gen 7 mons. Like, I always run Poplio when I played the games. Rowlet is very good in Legends, and then Litten became a nightmare for VGC when it's a Incineroar with Intimidate. Yeah, overall these are just really good. They're not touching my boys, but yeah, they're pretty good. Oh yeah, another thing with Froakie and Greninja. Because we're getting into Gen 8, it made me think of it. Protein. The fact that it can change its type based on what move it's using. It's like, the only reason I bring that up is Scorbunny basically has the same ability. And even if it didn't have it, it's still a really good mon. It's like, it gets good move coverage, and it's just a really fast mon. I don't like Sobble. Even as an Italian, I like the idea that, oh yeah, 007, he became a spy. British, look, laugh. I just don't really like it. And it didn't even get a good hidden ability, it just got Sniper. And it makes sense, but it's not really a good ability for it. Like, at least these two got abilities that worked really well with how the DLC came out and all the moves they got. Because Grookey got Grassy Surge, so it can just set up grass, and then it can just use Grassy Glide or whatever and get priority. And now we're at Gen 9, which we basically know nothing about. We just know what they look like. And honestly, these two can go here. I like them. I don't know what they'll do with them, but I'm curious to see what they will do. This one, though, he goes right here just because he looks like Donald Duck from Kingdom Hearts. Yeah, I do hear the argument, like, this better stay a quadruped. I don't care either way. It's like, with how Pokemon does all their starters lately, I wouldn't be surprised if it's bipedal. I think that's a good list. I know a certain someone who's going to be mad at me for putting this little bastard right here. But, it's fine. It's not their list, it's mine. And I think with that, we're just going to be done with the stream tonight. So, thank you all for coming out tonight. This will probably be up on YouTube in like a few days. And I'll try to stream something else soon. Have a good night, everyone.